Hola, señoras y señores. Hello, my lovely music-speaking darlings. Isn't that wonderful? When you discover, as soon as you discover the language of music, you can start communicating with absolutely everyone on this planet. I think that's extraordinary. So let's tune the violin first. So let me know whether you can get the audio and the video, whether you can hear me, and whether you can see me as well. And today we're going to start our Ask Me Anything live video. So you can pop your questions underneath and I'll answer them. And I'm also going to show you how to play a waltz, how to play the waltz, the Blue Danube by Johann Strauss, which is a wonderful, fun piece to play. And as usual, you can download the sheet music on my Patreon page. So we start in D major, and I created a really simple version which you can play in the first position. In case you want to play it in a third position and fifth position as well, let me know and I'll create another tutorial just for you. But this one is for everyone who wants to play the whole piece in the first position. So let's get started. We start on the open D string. This is how we start. I'm going to play the whole thing for you first, and then I'm going to go into details and show you which finger goes where and when. And if you have a chance, let me know whether you get the audio and the video, whether you can see me and hear me, with other words, because I have no idea. I can see myself and I can hear myself, but the most important thing is that you also get everything. So let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to play the whole piece so that you know what it sounds like. that was the whole piece. And you can play the whole thing in the first position, which is great news, especially if you're a beginner. And we're going to start from the very beginning, as usual, on the D string. So the unusual thing about the waltz is that the first beat is the strongest one. It's always strong. And then we have two weak ones. So it's strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, and that's how you know it's a waltz. Of course, the time signature is 3/4. Hello, everyone. Wonderful to see you. You're very welcome. Just keep posting your questions so that I can answer them right away. And as I already said, the first beat is the strongest one. Then we have two weak ones. So that's very important in a waltz, because if you don't do that, it will not sound like a waltz. So make sure you play strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, and so on, all the time. It also helps a lot if you're a dancer, then you know exactly how to dance it, right? So the first step is the biggest one, and then you have two small steps. It's the same thing. So then we have the third finger on a G string, which goes all the way up to the fourth finger because it's C sharp. You could either play it with the high third finger, or you could relax and play it with a low fourth finger. Both possibilities are fine. So you could play it like this, or with a fourth finger. And here you could place the first finger on both strings so you don't have to jump around like crazy. So you can play like this. Leave the first finger on A and D string. Makes it much easier to play like that. Strong, weak, strong. Then we have a little ritardando here. It means slowing down. We use the Italian language in music, and ritardando means slowing down. So you slow down and then go back into tempo primo. Then we have a key change. We have an extra sharp here, another sharp, which is G sharp. Here, this is a very fun place to practice. So you start in the first position, then you suddenly go into half position and play. Instead of the first finger, you replace the first finger with the second finger, and you're in half position now. So keep in mind your arm moved down, you're in half position and playing what the first finger has been playing. The first position is now your second finger. Yeah, because we suddenly have an accidental there. It's B and A sharp. And A sharp is played with a very low first finger, which goes all the way down to the nut. So I'll show you again. It's third line. In case you downloaded the sheet music, it's third line in the music, in the notes. So let's try it. Arm goes down, second finger replaces the first one, and then first one is low, and then you move back into the first position and carry on playing. Here, this is an interesting bit. Again, we can play the G sharp either with the high third finger or with a low fourth finger. But here, because we had the third finger on A string before, we're definitely going to use the fourth finger on a D string because it makes it much easier. So low fourth finger, and here high third finger because we have a G sharp in the key. So in case you're a total beginner and you don't know what the sharps do with your notes, the sharps always put the note up half a step higher. So in case we had a G before, which is our third finger on the D string, the G sharp is when your third finger goes all the way up to the fourth finger on the D string in this case. All right, let's carry on. Remember, the whole thing has to be played really gentle. It's a really gentle and elegant dance. It's a lot of fun playing it. So make sure not to play fortissimo all the time. Fortissimo means extremely loud. And here we have the second finger, where was it? On a E string is low because we have key change again. It's like constant key changes here, constant modulations. So here, the second finger on an E string goes down to the first finger because it's not the G sharp anymore, but the G. And now we suddenly have two flats, B flat and E flat, which means that the fourth finger on an A string goes down to the third finger, and the first finger on an A string also goes down to the nut. So this is B flat, first finger on an A string, and this is E flat, the fourth finger on an A string. So let's play that part. And now we have another key change. Now we suddenly have an F sharp in a key. And when we have a sharp in a key, all the flats disappear. So we either have flats or sharps in a key, or we have nothing at all. So in this case, we have an F sharp in a key, which means all the flats are gone. And because we don't have a sharp for the C, the second finger on an A string goes down to the first finger. Now, something unusual happens here. Instead of playing the C with a low second finger, we play it with a high first finger because afterwards comes a high second finger on a D string and makes things much easier. So instead of playing low second finger on an A string and then jumping over to D string, playing high second finger on a D string, we play 1, 2, high first finger and high second finger on A and D string. I'll show it to you again. Prepare your first finger, and fingers are stuck together. There is no space in between. This is C and this is F sharp. And again, high second finger. And now we'll replace it with a low second finger, same note. And the second finger on the E string is low because we don't have a G sharp in a key. Now we have an A sharp as an accidental, which is played with a low first finger on an A string. 1, 1. You could theoretically also play the A sharp with a high fourth finger on a D string, but If you can do it with the first finger on an A string, it's probably easier for you. Now, moving on, next part. Here we have an accidental for G, which is G sharp, which means third finger on a D string goes all the way up to the fourth finger. Low second finger on the A string, because we don't have a C sharp in the key. And again, the same thing. Yeah, high third finger on the D string because of the accidental, which is G sharp. And low second finger on the E string, because we still don't have a G sharp in a key. And here comes the repetition. Now, we take the fourth finger on the G string and the third finger on a G string right next to it because it's D flat all of a sudden. And we play the C with the second finger on a G string. Imagine that. Yeah, the note that we usually play with the third finger, we suddenly play with the second finger because it's much easier. We simply stick our fingers together with no space in between, and that's the notes we're looking for. So D, D flat, and C. And now we replace the second finger with the third finger and carry on. So this part was also really fun to play. When I was in college, I remember we made our conductor mad because all of us decided, all the first violins decided to stand up here. So we got up and then we sat down again. And imagine what it looks like when half of the orchestra just stands up and sits down in the same place. So he got really mad with us, but we carried on cheating and fooling around because it was fun. So don't do that. Well, you can have fun, but not in an orchestra, really. So let's try this. So it's a little ritardando here. Here you slow down a little bit. You just enjoy this bit. And then take a down bow. And here we have a B flat in a key, which means all the sharps are gone except for the accidentals. The accidentals are the sharps which are right before, you can see them right next to the note. Yeah, they're not in a key. I have no idea what's the Indian method of holding the violin. I think they hold it very low, right? I find it very comfortable to hold it as high up as possible. A proud violin posture. It's really comfortable. So we have a B flat in a key, which means all the sharps are gone. Second finger on a D string and on an A string is low. First finger on an E string also goes down to the nut because there is no F sharp in a key. So let's try this. Low first finger. Now comes the accidental, high second finger on the A string. Remember to stand up here in case you're sitting. And again. And then down bow. So if you have requests, you can join my Patreon page and send them to me there. And also remember to send me a link to that video so I can process your requests on my Patreon page if you join me there. Yeah? All right. So. And low second finger again on the E string, and first finger as well. Really enjoy this moment. Was a C sharp because there was an accidental, and we carry on. It's a grace note, which means it disappears really fast. Yeah, third finger. So it's 3-2, real fast. 1, 2, 3, 1. We have a very interesting phrase. So third finger on the D string, open A string, and then we have low first finger on the A string and high first finger on the A string. Well, the way you know it, not extra high. So it goes like this. G, A, B flat, and B natural. B natural. So let's try this one more time. Make sure that when you slide in, you don't press hard on a string. Always relax your finger. Yeah, because if you press hard, this is what it will sound like. And we don't want that. So let's try that. And another interesting moment. Second finger, which is a low second finger on the A string, suddenly goes even lower. We go into half position and play the B, which we usually play with the first finger, with the second finger. Because we need our first finger for the F natural on the E string. As simple as that. So let's try this bit from the low second finger on the A string. And we slide down into half position, play the B, the second finger, and place the first finger right next to it on the E string. And I put an open E string here and the fourth finger because it's really fun alternating. It sounds so different. You change the colors slightly and it's fun to experiment with it. So give it a try. So let's try from this bit here, where your first finger slides in, low, and goes back to B natural. And half position, and back into the first position, fourth finger. Sometimes you ask me why I use the fourth finger instead of using the open string. So I always try to use the fourth finger as much as possible because lots of people don't take care of the fourth finger. They think, oh, it's hard. Okay, I'm a beginner. I will not use my fourth finger. And if you don't use it, you will not lose it, but it will not get strong. Awesome, that's wonderful. So if you have any questions, remember to post them down below. You can also download the sheet music for this waltz. The link is in the description box below. And we'll play the last bit one more time together. Slide down to half position. Open string, fourth finger. I'll play the whole thing without stopping now. if you wouldn't play around with the open string and the fourth finger, this is what it would sound like. Kind of boring. Or if you take only the fourth finger, also quite boring. Just one color. I want more colors. That's why I keep playing around with those. It's different. Sounds slightly different, but it shouldn't sound like too low or too high. Not that different. That's not what I mean. I just mean the color. So it's exactly the same note. It's E and E, or on an A string, it's A, open A string. The fourth finger on a D string is also A. So always make sure those sound exactly alike. Only the color should be slightly differently if you know what I mean. So a little bit different in the sound, but not in a pitch. And the same thing, the open D string and the fourth finger on a G string. Here we have a D and open D. Play around with them. Don't avoid using your fourth finger because it needs a lot of strengthening, and then you'll see when you keep using it, it'll keep getting stronger. It'll be more fun playing and using it as often as possible. And you will not complain about using your fourth finger anymore because it'll be just as strong as the other fingers. So it's really possible to train it and to make it even stronger than the other fingers. So turn all of your disadvantages into blessings, which is always the case, but we don't always notice it. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Remember to always warm up before you start. One of my favorite exercises is from our dear, amazing violinist Jascha Heifetz. Put all the fingers on an A string, for example, and then take the first finger on a D string and keep coming and going. Then put it down on an A string. Now, second finger keeps coming and going on a D string. And take it as high as you can. And put as much energy as you can into your fingers, into your fingertips. And now comes the third finger. Now, go on, give it a try. You might find it really hard. So now comes the fourth finger. Yeah, all of your fingers are on the A string, and fourth finger comes and goes on the D string. Okay? And you can try the same exercise on G and D string, where you put your fingers on the D string and use one finger always on a G string. Make sure to leave the other fingers on the D string while you're doing it. That's very important. This strengthens your fingers and also helps your fingers to become independent from each other. Because sometimes when one finger goes down, everything slips down. That shouldn't be the case. So this exercise is really perfect for training your fingers to the independence. Remember, 4th of July is coming soon. So we should start training the independence of our fingers. Start with the small things, right? Hello there. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If yes, I'm planning to leave this video on YouTube. This was the tutorial, so I hope you liked it. In case you did, remember to give me a like, subscribe, share this video everywhere. Also post your comments and questions down below. I'm looking forward to reading them soon. And let me know how else I can help you. If you need a tutorial, just join my Patreon page and send me your tutorial requests. Also remember to send me the link for that song and I'll start working on it right away. Thanks so much for joining me here, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.